Shalom Aleichem, Chaverim v'Yedidim. This week's Haftarah is actually different in Hagim, where to start. And it's interesting to note that even though some follow usually the Minik Sfardim, this time you see that many follow and they start the Haftarah of Shiras Devara way before the actual Shira and the Shaftim Perek Hey. They actually started in Perek Dalid, which talks a little about the story, what led to the Shira. And that's a Chiluk Min Hagim. But there is a general question which the Rebbe discusses, and that is, obviously, in Parshas Beshalach is the Shira Sayom, and the Haftarah has to be Me'ena Parsha, which is fine. But there's so many other places, there are so many other Shiras that the Go'anim, they could have chosen as to make as a Haftarah. Why Dafka the Shira Dvara? Why not the Shira of David? We find that David HaMelech also made a Shira, and that would be Me'ena Parsha of Shiras B'nai Yisrael by the Yam Suf. And one of the beautiful explanations the Rebbe gives is even in this week's Parsha, we find two Shiras. We find the Shira of B'nai Yisrael, and we find the Shira of the Jewish women. And the Jewish women, when they sang, they did it in a much greater level. They did it not just b'peh, they actually brought tupim and mecholos, they brought instruments, and they did it in a much more exciting level. And the Rebbe says, and the reason why they did it in a more exciting level is because whoever is saved, the deeper your gzeira was, and the deeper your hatzalah was, and you realize to appreciate what Hashem did for you, the more you show appreciation and the way you say thank you. Dafke the women, by them, even though the men were the ones that worked avodah kasha, avodah perech, but that was nothing compared to the shibud that the women had. And control the religion of the house that Rahman al should go towards Paroi. That gzeira is a much deeper gzeira than the avodah perech of the men. So when the Eibishter saves us from Mitzrayim, they respond and make a much deeper shira than the men. And that's why, because even in the Parsha, the shira of Miriam is at a higher, deeper level than the shira of Bnei Yisrael, even though in psukim wise it's much less. So when they chose which haftarah to use as Me'ein HaParsha, they did not choose Shiras Devara, they did not choose Shiras David, they choose Shiras Devara. A beautiful thought the Rebbe says. But to quote a Pirush Rashi, and this theme we find a few places in Chumash where we are even concerned of the feelings of a doimein. We know by the Mizbeach, Leisalu Malas al Mizbechi. We know by Kiddush you cover the challah, so the challah shouldn't get embarrassed that you're making Kiddush on wine. I mean, things that you think they have no feelings, but if it's the wrong thing to do, it could hurt. Somehow, something could get hurt. We behave different. So here there's a pasuk in today's Haftarah. Shimu melachim ha'azinu roiznim. Listen, kings. And again, another expression we find in Chumash when is shimu, when is ha'azinu. Listen, masters. Anoichi la'Hashem, anoichi ashira. I'm to Hashem, and I will praise and sing to Hashem. Says Rashi, why does it say the word Anoichi twice? Why doesn't it just say Anoichi Lashem Ashira? Why does it say Anoichi? So Rashi brings from a Medrash Agada. Like Kipach HaKadosh Baruch Hu Schar Tover or Carmel. The Eibishter did not forget to give reward to the mountains Tover or Carmel. What did they do? What kind of reward do they deserve? Shabol LaMatan Torah. They came to Matan Torah, and they asked that they should also they should have the schus that the Torah should be given on them. And the Eibishter chose Har Sinai. Chazru b'boishes upon him. They left embarrassed. They left wiped out. Amalem HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Eibishter says to them, Soif shani peirei lachem keflayim. The time will come when you will get a double reward. In Sinai, in the Aseret Dibris, it says, Anoichi Hashem Elokecha. Once Anoichi. In Tavar, over here, it's Anoichi. In Sinai, it says, Anoichi Hashem Elokecha. Once Hashem's name. In Carmel, it says twice, Hashem hu elikim, Hashem hu elikim. So this is a midah you have to learn. If Hashem cares about the feelings, or whatever word you can use for a mountain, they should get rewarded for their will and the desire to want to connect, and whatever will they have. And the says Hashem Elokim, Hashem Elokim, Anochi, Anochi twice. So how much more so we have to learn to behave that way.